my channel. I hope that you're having a great day. I have a design team project to share with you for ASC Craft Supplies. I will leave links to the online stores in the description box below. And remember to use my coupon code Michelle10 for 10% off any regular price purchases. And any order $75 or more ships free. And what I have created is this sewing machine memory decks card, and I was inspired by Little Pink Crafter on Instagram, and I will leave a link to her Instagram account as well as her YouTube channel in the description box below. But she created one of these, and it was so adorable. I had to make one myself. And I do believe that she used the Lori Whitlock SVG file, and I will leave a link to it as well in the description box below. And I just reduced the size of it, and I do have a short tutorial for the measurements. And I used the Prima My Sweet paper collection. It is an absolutely stunning sewing collection, and I love the florals, the colors of the pinks, just so pretty, right at my shabby side. And I did create these two circles here and this little rectangle. I wanted some extra little buttons on the front, so I just added those, and I do tell you what size they are in the tutorial. And I did add some of this lace that I had in my stash and some little flowers from ASC and a little seam binding bow. And I've got my Memory Decks base here on the bottom, and I used my Memory Decks punch for that. And I use this really pretty rose gold paper from Michaels. But I just love how this came out, and I love that it comes with this little spool, and then I just wrap some thread around it, and on the side you've got your little knob. And I added some more of this filigree that I cut out as I did here on the front. And then I have the little box that is like where the needle goes, and then I cut an extra piece out to put some foil cardstock there on the bottom, just how it has that plate. I'm not sure what the name of it is. I sew, but I don't know the names of the machine parts. And then on the back here, you can see the paper, how pretty it is. And another one of those little flourishes that I cut out, and I wrapped the lace all the way around. And I think I showed you the knob already. And I did go ahead and make some offset pieces, which you would not have to. You could just cut it out of a more sturdy pattern paper, and you wouldn't need to do the offset, but I chose to do offsets and did it in cardstock and then layered it. And it opens up, so it's a box. And I just wanted to show you, I don't have anything in the little bottles, but these are the little bottles that you get from Dollar Tree. So it holds two of the small ones, like so, and then it holds that large one. So you could put some, quite a few goodies and send to a friend in this, I thought. But there you can see down in the box, so it's a nice size box. And I'll just turn it back around, but I love how this came out. I just thought it was so adorable. And like I said, I was inspired by Little Pink Crafter, and I'll have all of her information in the description box below. So if you would like, stay tuned for the tutorial. This is my Silhouette Studio software, and I am going to import the 3D sewing machine file. I did purchase it through the Silhouette America Design Store. They were having a sale, and I purchased it a while ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight everything, and I want to group it together because I want to change the size of it. And we'll go up here to the width, and it is 8.949, and I want to go over to the height, and it is 9.943, and select enter. And that resizes it. And so now I'm going to ungroup it. So now I want to change the size of the spool box and the spool. So the box I changed to 1.931, and the height is 1.863. And so I changed that. And then the spool I changed to 0.596 and 0.770. And I'm just going to delete this extra spool, and then we'll just duplicate that one since they're the same size. And then I changed the size of these two circles. I wanted a little bit different sized buttons on this. I'm going to lock that, and then it'll put this, lock that, and then put 0.50 and make it that size. And then this one I enlarged it to 3/4 of an inch to be 0.75. And then this is the piece that goes like above the bobbin, or the sewing plates, what I'm going to call it. And let me unlock back there. Sorry about that. So it'd be 0.75 by 0.75. There's that one. Let's go ahead and put it over there. And then this is the piece that we put our needle into. So here's our 1/2 inch and our 3/4 inch circle. And I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate that rectangle there. And I'm going to make it 1 inch wide. Then we'll go over here and make it 0.3 inches tall. And that is the piece that I put right here. So to make the knobs and this button a little bit thicker, I'm just going to duplicate them 4 different times. And I just glued them together so my buttons would be thick. So now I'm going to make my decorative pieces by selecting the internal offset and changing the size from 0.125 to 0.0625. It makes them just a little bit bigger. Select apply, and then I'm going to go over here and change the color of those to white so I'll know what they are. We'd just cut those out in the foil. And then also I did do an offset on the knob that goes on the side the same way. I'll just select internal offset. I'm going to change that to 0.0625, hit enter, and make it white. So here we go. So that is the modifications that I did to the fowl. And for Cricut, you would just import the fowl and make the same measurements. Okay, as you can see, here is another sewing machine. I have several of these. I keep having issues with my phone cutting off when I'm filming. So let's give this another shot. I have already burnished my pieces here for the sewing machine. And this is what the sewing machine looks like when it's cut out. And this is the top where it's shorter than the bottom. And like I said, I've already burnished these. So what I want to do is turn it over, and I want to put glue on this bottom tab, and I'm just going to fold it over and then wrap the side around, making sure they're meeting along the bottom, like so. And I'm going to go ahead and take my bone folder and just give that a little burnish like so. And that looks good. And I'm just going to fold this part back. And we're going to take this piece, and the top tab is a lot larger than the bottom tab. So we want to work with the bottom tab, and I'm going to put glue on the front of it. Make sure I get those all the way to the edge, and turn the sewing machine over. And I want to line that up along the bottom. I want to make sure these score lines that run by the tab are matching up along the sides of the base of the sewing machine. That way it'll make it nice and even. And this will go along the inside to form our box. So what I want to do is I'm going to flip it back over here, and I'm going to put glue on. Go ahead and do 2 of the tabs. And then we'll just push it along the bottom there and hold on to it for just a second, and then we'll fold it in and do this long tab, making sure that the corner meets back in there like that. And I'm just ever so slightly moving it just to get it lined up, and then I'm going to turn it back over, and now I'm going to run the bone folder along that edge. I'm just going to check to make sure it is still lined up like so. That looks good. And now I'm going to put glue on 2 more of these tabs. And I'm just going to line this up along this side. Right there. And then, whoops, it's caught. And then fold it down. And I'm just lining the tabs up like so. Just taking my fingers, some of my fingers on the inside and pushing against it, and then I'm going to put some glue on the next 2 tabs, and we'll fold it down to match it up. like so. Just taking my fingers and pinching the tabs, and then we'll do the last tab here, like so. Okay, that looks good. So we'll fold these over like that, and we will put glue on all of the tabs. I'll fold this over, and I'm just going to hold it like that, and then I'm going to work on this top section here. Get that lined up, and then just push these into place and use my fingers on the inside like that. Running my fingers along and just pushing them, sliding the tabs, making sure everything is lined up. And that is how we form our box. So it comes together really quickly. Let's go ahead and do our knob that goes on the side of our box. There we go. Lost my one of my boom folders. Okay, I like using this one because it's more rounded than the Teflon to get a good curve. And the first thing that we want to do is put some glue on that tiny little tab and roll it around and make sure we line it up. I'm lining up all of the score lines on each side as well as the sides of the tab, like so. And then I'm just going to, while I'm holding that, go ahead and fold down these tabs. That looks good. Making sure it's centered. And I'm going to flip one of them back up. I like to just go ahead and anchor our circle that we're putting on. I just want to make sure I have a good anchored spot. So I'm just going to line that up right up against the score mark. And I'm going to let that dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to go underneath and put glue on all of these tabs. I want to make sure I get a good amount, especially along the edge of the tabs, so it will anchor, so it will hold the circle down. And then I'm going to fold it over and gently push against the circle, making sure it lines up. And what I'm going to do is, my anchored point is at the top. I want to go ahead and just make sure it's lining up, and I'm just going to work my way around with my fingers on the inside and just hold that. There we go. My thumb on the inside works a little better, and then I'm just pushing the outside piece. I'm just lining that up along the circle. Just make it nice and neat. And like I said, I've got my thumb in there, and I'm just pushing against my thumb. My thumb is up in the corner of the seam, and I'm just going to wipe that glue off my fingers because I want to make sure it really seals along the edge so it looks nice and neat. And there we have our circle. Now we're going to flip that over and fold these tabs down. I'm going to leave one tab up and do like I did before. I like just anchoring the one tab. That's just my preference. And I'm going to line it up with the score mark and just hold that. And while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the inside of these tabs, like so. And I'm making sure I've got all of them into the edge. Now we're going to just fold our circle over to the knob, and I'm just making sure it's lined up all the way around, and then just ever so slightly squeezing. And I'm going to wipe off the excess glue. And that looks really good. I think I'm going to use that for the outside. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, I did make an offset, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on the outside of the knob. So we have our knob done. I'm going to set it aside, and let's go ahead and glue all of these pieces together. So these are 4 cardstock and then 1 decorative, 4 of the 3/4 inch circles, and then the inset. and 4 of the 1/2 inch in the inset, and then this is the piece that goes like where the needle would go into your sewing machine. So I'm just going to glue these together. I'll fast forward through this. We have our knobs and little buttons put together. So I have 2 pieces of cardstock that we're going to form our memory decks part, and these measure 3 7/8 by 1 inch, and on the short side I have just scored at a 1/2 inch down the middle. Go ahead and fold those over, and for the decorative pieces, you'll need 4 of these, and they are 3/8 by 3 3/4. So we're just going to glue those on the inside here, so we'll have some decorative. And we'll go ahead and glue these on here as well. I think my punch will go through this. We'll find out. And do that. So now I'm going to bring in my memory decks punch, and I'm just going to center it along the lines here and push that down. I'm going to take this one, put it on top, and just lay those up against each other. And as I'm holding them, I want to take my pencil and I just want to put some pencil marks to make sure they line up, like so. So I put it here in the middle, and I put pencil side down since my view is on the bottom here. So I'm just going to line those up like that. You can see it in there. Turn it back over so I can push down on it. And I'm just going to glue the bottom halves together. So just put glue up to your score line here, that 1/2 inch score line. We'll take these, fold them over, and just butt them up against each other. That's perfectly. We're going to take and put glue all along. I've just folded those down to make a platform to put our sewing machine on. Plenty of glue, and we'll take our base, and I'm just lining this up along the edges and push it down in there. Okay, like that. So now we have our memory decks portion made, and let's go ahead and make our needle part. And I have these little sewing pins or needles. Okay, so I have my needle, and I'm going to take, these are some of my jewelry snips, and I'm just going to snip this needle, maybe. There we go. So I just made it shorter so it would fit in our sewing machine. And I'm just going to go ahead, and there's a hole right there. Let me just go ahead and they cut a little hole, so I'm just folding that over, and I've burnished all of my pieces on the one that holds the needle. And I want to fold those little tabs in and the big tabs out. I'm going to fold this piece over, that tab over, and put some glue on there. And we'll fold this over, and it should line up with the tab, like so. Of course, that needle head, the head of the needle is making it a little difficult to fold it over. So I'm just going to hold that. And I'm going to use my little pokey tool here, and I'm going to poke the tabs in there, and then fold this tab on the side down, like that. Just pushing it down so it'll stay. And then I'm going to put some glue on this tab and fold it up. Folding that ever so slightly so it dries, and then your needle, you can adjust it. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm poking the little pieces in like so. I'm going to fold the one that the top of it, we'll fold that in like so, and then I'm going to put some glue on this tab and fold it up like that. I'm going to put some glue along this, and we're going to put it inside of the sewing machine right about there. And I'm just lining that up from side to side. So I've lined it up from side to side here, and then from side to side there. Your needle, you can just adjust it to make it go straight down. And then we'll take this piece, and I'm going to put glue on it. And like I said, I made it bigger so it would look more realistic. And we're just going to slide it along the bottom here where the needle would go in. And I'm just going to center it in underneath the needle. And that goes there. So now we'll glue the knob on the side. And I'm going to put the seam on this knob. I'm going to put it facing down, and I'm just going to center that on the side like so. Tug, and then we're going to take the buttons for the front. I'm just going to eyeball it there. No rhyme or reason, just wherever you would like to place them, and put that one along the top or above it. And then this is the oblong button. We'll put it here like so. And then we have our spool box and spool. So we have our spool box, and I'm going to turn it over and fold it along that seam right there, and fold the tab down, and we'll put a little bit of glue on the tab, and then this will fold over and grab hold. And then we'll fold these top two in, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on them because I'm not putting anything inside the box, and on that as well, and just tuck it in like so. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold those two down and tuck some glue rather, and just tuck that on the inside like this. Okay, that looks good. And let's put some glue on the front of the box, or the back, whichever side you make it, and we'll just put our spool covers on, and centering it up so these pieces stick out past the box. Okay, that looks good. And we'll do the other side. And now I have some thread, my rose gold thread here, and I'm just going to hold it and start wrapping it around. And to have this beading tool, I'm just going to slide it underneath and trim my thread, leave me some extra, and go through the top of it here. There we go. Look through, and then I'll just slide it back through like that. And I'm going to put some glue underneath the thread and hold that down so it will make sure it adheres really well, and trim the excess off. Then we'll bring our sewing machine back in. We'll pick the side that I like the best. Okay. And I'm going to put some glue on the bottom of the spool, and then we'll just put it on the top of our sewing machine. So this is our completed sewing machine. So thanks for watching the tutorial. I hope that you have a great day. Make sure to visit ASC Craft Supplies and use my coupon code Michelle10 for 10% off any of your regular price purchases. And any order $75 or more ships free. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.